So this is it. We learned how to download remote data from a server, how to load remote images as well. We used the decodable protocol, also the identifier protocol to show this in a list. Let's start our next exercise reading the description. First, we're going to display a list of products from this URL. Okay, if you open the URL, you can see that this is a JSON file where we have an array of objects. So each object, it's a product. This contains the ID, the title, the description, price, and the thumbnail. Everything is a string, but the ID, which is an integer. Okay, so this is the info of each product that we are going to show in the screen. Each product will contain or will display an image loaded from the URL, a title, a description, and a price. So everything is going to be dynamic and remote. We are going to use Alamofire in order to download the data from the URL. This can be done natively, meaning that it can be done with pure Swift, but I think Alamofire is a good option when you are starting, and this is something that actually you will find in some projects that you will work. It's very used in the industry. Then we will use the decodable protocol in order to convert our JSON data into our array of products. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. We will have a button that will download the data. Obviously this is not necessary, but it's just to see the action, not to open the app and then see all the data, but clicking and see step by step how it works. Then we will show each product with an image and the info here. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. We need to install Alamofire library. To do this, we can go to File and then add Swift package, or you can just click here in the root of the navigator, then select your project and then package dependencies. If you click here in the plus button, then you can find all the packages. I have it here because I used recently, but you can find it put in the URL here. Then you will select Alamofire package, click on the add package button, and then one small step here is that we can avoid to install Alamofire dynamic. This is something we don't need, and maybe we can have some conflicts. So we only need the Alamofire package. This is going to be added to the target. This is what it means. This is our project. Okay, so this is where it's going to be installed. So we click add package and that's it. We have Alamofire ready to use. So back in our main view, we are going to define our product model, our product object. We can create a different file for this that we are going to call product. Then we can just remove these comments and define or declare our model. Okay, this is going to be decodable and is going to contain the properties that we've seen in the JSON. They should match the name and the type. So this is the title, description, price, and the thumbnail. Okay, so we are matching the properties of the JSON and the types, as you can see here: ID, title, description, price, and thumbnail. So we have our product model ready to use, so we are going to define the array of products that we are going to show in the view. So we just need to define an array of products and give it a starting value, which is just an empty array until we download the data. Okay, so then we are going to do two more steps. One is downloading the data and filling this products array, and then we will show the data in the screen. Okay, so we are going to create a button that will trigger that download, and then we will show that data. So just a very basic button will be enough. And then in the action, we'll download things with Alamofire, okay? But instead of putting everything in the button action, let's create a function that with download the data. It won't return anything because it's going to fill the array directly, okay? Yeah, so to use Alamofire, you have to import the library as I'm doing here already, and then you will be able to do a request using AF keyword, okay? Just with this request function that it takes a convertible type. Convertible type means that it's going to accept everything that can be a URL. It can be a string, it can be a URL object that you can init, but for this we are going just to use a string, and that will be the URL that I provided here in the exercise. So this is going to do the request, and then we only need the response of that request. So we can use this this function response that it will take a completion handler as a parameter. This is basically a closure, okay? So this closure, if you press enter, it will be formatted. So this will return a response, okay? So inside this response, we have the data that we downloaded. So we can do an if let, because this data is going to be optional. Why is this data optional? This is because it can be, we can have an error in the request. So there is no data to show if, I don't know, you don't have a connection or the URL is not correct or anything. You will have an error instead of having the data. So the data will be nil in that case. So we will define this data variable, this local variable that will take the data value. As you can see here, it will return an optional data. Then here we can do a do catch, or we can do we have two options. We can do a optional try, or we can just use do catch try. It's exactly the same. So the products will be decoded using this JSON decoder. Decode, and then we will define that we expect an array of products. So we use self to indicate that this is going to be a type. This is the type we are expecting from the data, okay? We can catch here and say, okay, something went wrong, okay? And then when we have the products, we can make a print in order to be sure that everything downloaded. So we need to have here several products instead of 0, okay? So this is going to download the data and then set those products to our variable here, okay? So the only thing we need is to call this function when we press the button. We can run this in our simulator in order to see the results in the console. Here it is. We click download, and then as you can see in the console, we have 10 products. So this is the part of downloading the data. We already have this available here, so we only need to show the list of products. So we are going to keep the button in order to download this, and then we will show the list of products just below. So we can use a list, putting products here and then using product as a local variable. But if we want to do this, we need to do something extra, which is that the product should be an identifiable, it should come from identifiable protocol, okay? So it's as easy as going here and say, okay, this is identifiable. So the only requirement that takes to confirm this identifiable is that you need a property called ID. It can be an integer, a string, or any type that can be used to identify this product. So we already have this ID property, so it's fine to use the identifiable protocol. So here we don't have the error anymore, so we can just build our product UI, okay? So first we are going to put an H tag because let's see the screenshot. We have this image and the rest of the content is distributed horizontally, and then we will use a vertical stack to all this product info. So for the image, we will put it here and make it later in with an async image. Let's put first the product info, like product.title, product.description, and price. We can use some fonts in order to differentiate the labels, like headline and font title. Should be fine. And then only the image is missing. So we are going to create a function for this in order to get our image, okay? This is just image view. We can put here the URL string. And it's going to return some view. So this is different from normal, let's call it normal function. And this is not going to return anything or return a view. This is going to return a view which is going to be placed here, okay, as we've seen in previous articles. So this is going to call image view, and the URL string will be product thumbnail. So here we need to return an async image. We only need the URL, but in this case we need the URL object. This is optional, so you can use the initializer that we have from a string. This is going to return optional URL, so we don't need to unwrap or check anything. We can just use the URL string here. But we want to resize this image because usually it's going to take the size of the original image, so we don't want that. We have other initializers. Let's save this because we are going to use it, but we have other inits like content and placeholder with also the URL. So for the URL we use the same, and then we have two closures. The content, where we have the image, this is the result of the image. So this is like the UI component. So this is what we can resize and customize, okay? So it's just a local variable that will be existing in this closure. So we can just return it here, but also apply some modifiers, okay? We're going to resize this, and then the frame will be 100 by 100, should be fine. And then we have this placeholder that we need to fill here. So this is what is going to show when the image is loading. It will take some time from getting the image from the server until it's displayed on the screen, okay? So, I mean, you can put anything like, okay, loading. But you can also put some UI element that is progress view, which is basically the default system loading. Okay, we will see it in a minute. So this should be all. We have the image and then the product info. Let's run it, and if anything is missing, we can just adjust some things. So we have the download button here because the list is taking the whole screen. So if we download, it will show the whole all the products. Okay, so yeah, as I said, there is something to adjust here. We are going to round the corners here. We are going to align this to the left. Also, we are going to change the color of the description because everything looks so mess here. I mean, you can maybe miss between title, description. So yeah, let's do that. So first is to corner this to 12, should be fine. Then we are going to align this B stack to the left, leading in this case. And then this could be, well, it could be smaller and also with a different color, like gray. So let's run it again, maybe it looks better. So if we press download, it will take a few seconds to load the screen, the image, and then it will show the result. As you've seen, the text was here because the loading progress view is smaller than the image, so then the image takes its place. We can set the frame of this to the same of the image, so because we expect that this is going to, I mean, we know already the size of the image, so we can take that room, so when the image comes, there is no change, there is no movement in the labels. All right, you can even put some border here or whatever. So this is it. We learned how to download remote data from a server, how to load remote images as well. We used the decodable protocol, also the identifier protocol, to show this in a list. So I hope it helped you, and goodbye.